Welcome to the Chat with Chou podcast, hosted by Chou Allegra, well-being and belonging consultant, best-selling author, and sought-after speaker. Join Chou as she connects with both new and familiar faces, showcasing their inspiring work in businesses. Together, we will explore insightful conversations, practical tips, and valuable resources aimed at fostering individual and collective growth both personally and professionally. Let's embark on this journey towards greater well being and belonging together. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Chat with Chou podcast. I am so excited today to have Christine with me. And I don't know about you guys, but once you hear about what all that she does, you're going to be so excited as I am. So, Christine recently won the 2025 Woman Podcaster Award for Best Podcaster. And she helps business owners, entrepreneurs, thought leaders develop and amplify their expert authority. So, without further ado, welcome, Christine. Thanks for being here.
Thank you so much for having me. I've been looking forward to it. Thanks.
Yeah, I have been looking forward to as well. As I was sharing right before the show here, I'm like, I'm all ears. I want to learn as much as I can from you. So, if you don't mind just sharing a little bit about more about who you are and what you do.
Yes. So I am called the expert authority coach. And basically, what I do is I take entrepreneurs, mostly women in business who are, overwhelmed with all of the things that we need to do. We need to, of course, take care of ourselves and our families and our
Mm-hmm.
business, and we need to be marketing geniuses, and we need to know how to do TikToks and right. And so with that overwhelm, a lot of times our brilliance, our creativity can be stifled and we feel stuck. And so my job is to help women, especially in business, look at ways that they can communicate their message. And sometimes it's about creating their brand and
Mm-hmm.
or helping their brand that they have and enhancing it. But a lot
Yeah.
of times it's finding those platforms that I know will do well and can raise their expert authority. I also have a quiz that is at
Love it.
expertauthorityquiz.com, and what it
Okay.
is you can rate yourself. It's 10 questions, and these are 10 questions that you should be asking yourself no matter what business you have. And they're
Mm-hmm.
10 questions that are super easy to answer, but it at the end it'll give you a score at where you're at on your expert authority. And so it'll also prompt you and give you some little bit of nudges in the areas that you need to probably start working on or improve. And so it's great feedback, and that's available at
Yeah.
expertauthorityquiz.com. Yeah.
Love it, love it. We'll definitely be including the link to that in the notes. Like I'm ready to go take it myself out of here.
Yeah,
Just
it's fun.
yeah, like you said, there's so much pressure. I hope I don't know if that's the proper word, but that's what it feels like for me right now. So much pressure with just social media technology in general, and most of us, who start businesses because we're passionate about something, and you're passionate about your thing, right? And then
Yes.
you know what you know your craft, and you're passionate about it, about helping people through that craft, and then you're surrounded with all the marketing stuff that you need to take care of, right? The old saying, or just build it, they'll come, does not work. So you're like, okay, I'm
No.
passionate about this. I want to make a difference. I want to make an impact, use my skills, to do so. And then like now I have to worry about marketing and people knowing me, and then this world of AI and all the other things. It's
I
like,
know.
who finds me, right? It's like you become the best kept secret. And then when people actually need you. So it's
Yeah.
so good to find people like you who then help us kind of, like you say, amplify our voices so that we can position ourselves for the right connections, right, with clients and partners
Yes.
and so forth. And I'm just been thinking, well, you mentioned TikTok, so I've been resistant, like really repelling TikTok for years. And so I met a lady this past weekend in Atlanta doing a conference, and she's killing on TikTok. She's like, I made all this money without, and touched on so many lives without even ads. And it's just her being her authentic self on TikTok and sharing about who she is and what she does. And over time, build a community that way. I'm like, okay, maybe I'm overthinking this. So for all of us out there who are thinking, okay, there's so many platforms, which one do I need to be on? I don't have time to do all of the things. I'm assuming you're your quiz will be a good start for that. But I just wonder if
Yes.
you have any, any suggestion, any advice for those of us who are overwhelmed with all the options, to make
Yes.
ourselves
Yes.
visible, online.
Well, I always tell my clients you need to go where your potential clients and customers are.
That's good.
If you're a huge fan of one particular platform, but all of your people that you need to reach are on another platform, then they don't know you exist, right?
Yeah,
And so
yeah.
I believe that we can, and I'm a queen of repurposing content. So you can create you can sit in your car with your film crew, which is your phone,
Mm-hmm.
and create a video, and that video, of course, you can post it on all the platforms, because once it's done and you've got the captions and things, you can post it on LinkedIn, you can post it on YouTube Shorts, you can post it on Facebook Reels and Instagram and TikTok. But you want to
Mm-hmm.
spend your time, or your research and your comments and your likes on the platform where your people are, and they may be in a couple different places.
Yeah.
For the longest time, I had a love hate relationship with LinkedIn.
Mm.
And that was because I didn't understand what LinkedIn really is for.
Yeah.
Okay. It's not like Facebook, and
No,
it's
no.
definitely not like TikTok, but it's
Mm.
great for finding
Yeah.
collaborators, for networking, for bringing into your world maybe people that you admire and you think that the
Yes.
work that they do is really important. So
Mm.
there's that way. I have a different persona on LinkedIn than I do on TikTok. And
Same
TikTok
here.
is a passion of mine. I'll
Mm-hmm.
tell you, because I'm one of those people that I realize that the news media, that the
Yeah.
corporate media lies to you.
Oh
Okay,
yeah.
all the
Yeah.
time for
Yep. Yep.
many decades they
Mm-hmm.
have lied to us, and they're not really reporting on the things that are actually happening. And so with TikTok, the beautiful thing about it is that, I mean, there's citizen journalists and people that are asking
Mm-hmm.
questions, and they're asking the necessary questions. And so TikTok is a bit of my, I mean, I spend a lot of time on there, but the
Yes.
postings that I do are actually very rarely related to my business. They're more
Mm-hmm.
about my passion and the hobby that I have of humor. And
Yeah.
so, but that's part of my personality. So the I find that most of my clients, because there's a lot of groups in Facebook that I can
Yeah.
join and that I'm a member of,
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot of women in business groups, so I find that that's a pretty stronghold for me when I'm announcing my workshops and the programs and things like that. So you
Mm-hmm.
need to go where your clients or potential clients and customers are. That's where you really want to focus. But once you've got a piece of content, that can be shared across all of them,
Everywhere.
and in relatively easy ways. We can do that.
Mhm. Yeah, no, thanks for sharing that. And I think, you just give permission, many of us permission to just be ourselves because it's so easy. Like you said, all the laws of corporate America, right? It's so easy to try to, be someone else just to fit into the world of LinkedIn, right? To look professional, to say the right thing, to, dress a certain way. And then sometimes we get lost in just trying to appeal to a market that we lose ourselves. Right. So I
Yes.
love that. I love that, you go on TikTok and just be your funny self, right? Because that's a part of you that,
Yes.
maybe LinkedIn, folks might not get to see, but that's who you are. And, many of us will appreciate seeing that as well. So definitely,
Well, I'll give you a hint.
I
I'll give you a tip too.
yeah,
In this year coming up, especially, right? And it's happening
mhm,
now, but in 2026,
yeah,
authenticity is
yes,
what is going to be the commodity,
yes,
right? We
yeah,
see it all around us. This idea of perfection, Hollywood is crumbling. The
mm,
political world is crumbling.
yes,
People that we thought were so high and mighty, and we were, these
right. Worship
idols.
them pretty much. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, in the music industry and
Mhm,
in Hollywood, but everywhere we see it. Because somebody has a multi-million gazillion dollar company does not mean that they're necessarily, philanthropic and really nice, right?
mhm,
So we're craving humanity is craving authenticity right now, and relatability. They don't want perfect. And the more
mhm.
you show up in your authentic self, trust me, people, you will do so much better when you show up as your authentic self.
Yeah.
and that means warts and all. You know, if I
Mm-hmm.
make a mistake and I'm doing a workshop or something like that, I'm the first to say, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe I didn't hit record," right? Or
Mm-hmm.
whatever it is, because people want to go, "Oh, she's human.
There you
Okay,
go.
she
Yeah.
understands me."
Yes.
And that is
Yeah.
going to pay off. Your authenticity is going to pay off. If it hasn't already, it
Right.
will. So stand true and don't compare yourselves to others, or don't try and be someone else, right? Because your potential clients and customers are going to smell that, and they're going to
Mm-hmm.
go, there's something missing. There's something,
Oh,
there's something
yeah.
going on, and they're not going to connect. And we want to connect because people pay people, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
that's what we want to do is we want to be seen, we want to be heard, and then we can be hired. Those are the important things to remember.
Yeah. Beautifully said. Yeah. And yeah, it's so easy, especially when people start businesses. I've seen people, and if you got received advice that I didn't ask for, about how I should do, could do, this or that. And I'm like, that's not like me. It's almost like I have a friend who often says it feels some trying to be someone else is like putting your socks on backwards. It just feels off, and you cannot
It
sustain that for
does.
a long time. You
I
cannot
I
sustain that for a
love
long
that.
time. Yeah. So, and when you yourself is just genuine, it just flows out of you. You don't, it's effortless, right? And
Yes.
running a business is hard already. Like it's fun when you do what you love, but it also there's lot of moving parts and a lot of tasks, and it can feel a lot, And so if you're really doing a lot because just to run your business, you also don't want to put yourself in the box that you don't belong, and then full of just out of place because you're trying to trying to pretend to be someone you're not, right? So yeah, be yourself.
Yes.
I love that. Be yourself, and honestly, those who your audience will love that about you, and the people who actually connect with you connect with the true you, genuinely, the authentic you,
Yes.
and then you're building those lasting connections. Like yeah, I love the example you gave about forgetting to record sometime. Like I've had health issues that impacted my speech. So there are times where it's hard to find a word. I'm literally stumbling on my words, not because not because I stutter per se, because I literally my brain is trying to find the word. And so I don't even edit those things. And I never actually did. In the beginning, like, well,
Good.
you can cut that out. I'm like, no. People who know my story know that I survived three different stroke-like episodes. So no cerebral accidents, and I don't want to cut that out so that people think I'm all perfect. No, because when they get in session with me, they're going to find a shoe that is strong to find the words. But guess what?
Yeah.
People love that. People love that genuine, that they don't have to be perfect to make a difference.
That's part of
And
your
that's
experience.
there
And
you
that's
go.
but that's the thing is that's part of your experience. And
Hmm.
so I know of a woman who is on TikTok, and she does social media
Hmm.
tips and strategies. And she had a stroke on where she was doing a live. Oy.
Wow.
And she
Wow.
still has to this day, she stutters, and
Hmm.
sometimes she has a hard time saying things. And in the beginning, when she first came back after that episode,
Hmm.
she came back and she was really struggling to speak. And she had the captions, to help
Hmm.
people understand what she was saying. But she said the same thing. She said, you know what? She says, I need to show up, first of all, for the people that need me, but
Yeah.
also so that people realize that we're human beings and we
Hmm.
go through
Hmm.
things, you know, and it's okay to, if you I remember losing a pet one day, my beautiful dog that I had for
Hmm.
16 years. And
Wow.
I had to go on the air. I was in radio back then. I was in
Wow.
on broadcasting, and I just remember just saying, you know what, I it, everybody, I'm a bit emotional right now because I
Yeah.
just lost my child, my baby,
Yeah. Yeah.
and I'm here talking about stuff that I don't really care about because all
Mm.
I'm thinking about is my puppy, my little baby
Yeah.
dog.
Yeah.
And you know what? It was true and it was real. And
Mm.
that those listeners, I don't know if I don't that nobody came up and talked to me afterward, but those
Mhm.
listeners that heard that, that could
Connected.
relate to that,
Mm-hmm.
connected, and they said, "Wow, here's somebody who's being really honest and vulnerable right now."
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so and that's the thing is we compare ourselves to others too many times. A lot of times we allow imposter syndrome to sink in. What
Yeah.
are people going to think if I break down? What are people going to think if I say, I suffered a stroke, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
coming back, but it's difficult. It's a long
Yeah.
road.
Yeah.
What are
Yeah.
people going to say about me? Don't worry. There's going to be people that are going to say thank you
Yeah, thanks for
for
showing
showing
up.
up.
There you
Yeah.
go. Yeah. And then it gives someone else, inspires and empowers and motivates someone else to say, hey, no matter what I'm going through, I can still, show up as well for
Right?
those who need me. Yeah.
Mhm. Yep,
So I love
exactly.
that. And so you just mentioned being in broadcasting. So you've been, I think
Yeah.
it was 25 years in media, and then you
Yeah.
wrote a book. So you have a lot of experience. That's 2.5 decades of a
It's a
lot of
long
things,
time.
a
I
long
know.
time. And then you kind of put all that knowledge into this beautiful book, The Social Media
Yeah.
and Branding Survival Guide, Digital
Yeah.
Marketing So Irresistible. Even your ex will want to follow you. That part made me laugh. And now it just makes sense. Like that's just your humor right there, but it's true. So
Yeah.
tell us more about the book.
Yes. So I have, this is my fifth best-selling book, but the
Nice.
other books were
Congrats.
all about podcasting and how to
Mm,
use podcasting as a marketing tool, how to be a guest on podcasts as a
mhm.
marketing tool, right? So, those were all really focused in the world of podcasting,
Yeah.
and I actually, and this is a tip too for your audience, you
Yeah.
know, I was I was one of those people that was, this is what I want to tell people. This is what I want to sell to
Mm,
people is podcasting, podcasting, podcasting. And then I finally one day actually listened to my clients. And what is it that they need?
they
And
needed.
a majority of them did not need a podcast.
Mm,
A majority of them were not ready yet to be a guest on podcasts because they didn't get their branding down. Their websites were kind of funky. But what
yeah.
they needed help with was their branding and social media.
Mm,
So as soon as I turned my focus on that and said, "Oh my gosh, I have this wealth of information." I was 20 years at a radio station where I not only interviewed people, but I was also the major fundraiser. We did
nice.
on-air fund drives because it was a nonprofit radio
Wow.
station.
Wow.
So I had to figure out what people wanted
Hmm.
and and how I could elicit donations in exchange for those thank you gifts, right? So
Yeah.
I had to
Yeah.
be a salesperson. For 20 years, I had to focus in on that craft.
Mm,
And then before that, I was with America Online, and I had a very large audience that I was responsible for and
mhm.
communicating messaging to. So through all that, I have all these strategies
Yeah.
and and concepts, and I just needed to put it into a book. And so the Social Media and Branding Survival Guide is that book, and the
Nice.
subtitle, you got it. See, the reason why I put digital marketing so irresistible, even your ex will want to follow you. And on the cover, if you notice, the X is kind of crossed out because it's just like, you
Yeah.
know, uh, is because that is my style. So the book is fun. It's not a
Mhm.
boring,
Right.
manual of strategies. It's
Mhm.
actually just taking you through your branding, your social media, and talking about little tips and strategies that I use, but it's done in a
Mhm.
very fun way. So it's a fun read. And the best, as someone who's written quite a few books, when somebody comes to you, and I just had this like maybe a week ago, a lovely lady who was interviewing me, she said, Christine, she goes, I read the book, and she said, can I tell you, she goes, you are so funny. And she said,
Mhm.
it was so much fun to read the book. I got it. I got what you were
Yeah.
talking about, girl. And
Wow.
that as an author is like, oh, that's the best thing,
Yes.
right? I
Yes.
don't care about how many sales I get. I care that people, they actually get what I was
Mhm.
cooking. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Like they
Yes.
go, that meal was delicious because you had dropped some beautiful, funny things in there. And so,
Mhm.
that's why I'm very, very proud of that book. Now, the next step, because it's in paperback and it's in ebook, Kindle, and hardcover, and the next step is to turn it into the audiobook, which I've got to work on. It takes I have to be in a frame of mind for that because
Mhm.
doing
Mhm.
the audiobook, even though people go, well, you've been in radio and podcasting and you've got a microphone, it's a performance.
Yeah.
When
Yeah.
you create an audiobook, you need to perform it. You
Yeah.
do not want to ever read your book and hit
Mhm.
record. You want to perform it. So I have to get into that mind space of performance. So
Yeah.
that's the next thing. Stay tuned. Stay tuned.
Me too. Yeah, that makes so much sense. And I think I love it. I just love, like you said before, being yourself and how it just trickles down into everything you do. Right. And even like, no, it's so easy because people say, well, we want the audiobook now, right? Putting pressure. And you're like, I'm not ready, right? When
I'm
I'm
not
ready,
ready.
I need to be in the mode that, to do that. And so again, staying true to yourself. And I love you dropped another gem there, not always wanting to do what we want to do per se, but
Yeah.
listening to an audience. You can be, gifted in whatever it is that you do and know your stuff, but if people might need it in a different package, right? People might need it
This is
in
the
different
biggest mistake.
chunks.
Yes. This
Yes.
is the biggest mistake that business owners make, especially entrepreneurs.
Mm,
What happens is that we say this is what I'm good at and this is what I want to sell. This is what I want to
mm,
push.
mm,
And if your audience or the market doesn't want it, it's like somebody saying, "I'm so hungry. I need food," and you're like, "But I have this really cool crystal. Look at this crystal. It's such a beautiful quartz crystal. It's
yeah,
magical. It's amazing." And the person's going, "But I'm hungry. Can I please have a sandwich?" No, no. You here. I want to give here. I'll give it to you for free. This crystal. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? That's how we
exactly.
are with
Yeah.
our services. And
Mm,
so, one of the things that I love doing is taking my clients and going, "Look, I know you're really good at this thing, but the what people really want and need is this. So
yeah.
let's just focus in on this." I have a few clients that are very psychically gifted. I mean,
Mm,
amazing. And for so long it was about helping people through their trauma and which is a beautiful thing to do, but it can
mm,
also wear on you as a healer, right?
yeah.
And I was saying, if you're a gifted psychic and intuitive as this person is, I said, do you know how many people who run businesses who would love to have some psychic help
Mm,
in their business? Hey, I'm thinking about changing my brand. I'm thinking about doing this program. Is that a good idea? Do you do you feel good about that? Tapping into the psychic abilities of somebody. Not everybody wants to be healed from a traumatic thing.
mm,
Yes, we all have traumatic things in life, but some of us need those tools, need those insights for our business. And
mm.
so I said, if we could offer that, it's $1 million deal, right?
Yeah, yeah. So definitely, yeah, that listening to others is so important, and I think that um sometimes people, not all of us, maybe many of us as business owners, get so protective of quote unquote our babies, right, or businesses that we miss the mark, if that makes sense, right? So and I'll put it this way: I often tell people, yes, your goals can be, you can be very strict on your goals, but be flexible in the way that in the means by which you meet that goal, right? So if you're setting out to help a certain way because you have certain gifts and talents and skills and expertise, so forth, sometimes there's a little shift can make a big difference. We're presenting it
Yes.
differently. Even, I've had people, like mental health has a stigma in itself already. Like, we know that. And sometimes people will rather, set up a coaching session rather than a counseling session, right? Just throwing it out there. And so even the way people start packaging it, their services, so looking differently. Instead of, like you say, kind of digging just back in the trauma for folks, many folks are like, hey, I want to move forward. How can you use your tools, your strategies, your skills to help me create a new life that I want to live, so that I'm not just stuck in the hole that I was in 10 years ago. So
Yeah.
definitely, like, yeah, listening to your audience could be a breakthrough for your own business,
Yes.
and so
And
that's
it changed
definitely,
my business. It changed my
yeah.
business the moment I realized what my clients actually needed and
Mm,
wanted.
yeah,
There's a thing, when I was doing all the fundraising, and I raised like $20 million for this
beautiful.
radio network, and over the course of my time there, it was about one.
Mhm.
At the end there, it was about 1.5 million a year I was raising. And
Wow.
what I've learned is that human beings, and it does not matter, it cuts across all socioeconomic lines. There's a pillar of three that we need and want, and
Mhm.
the pillar of three is health, wealth, and health, wealth, and happiness, but health, wealth, and love. Those are
Mhm.
the three things that we strive for, that we crave: health, wealth, and love. And wealth, when we're talking about wealth, we're not talking about money in the bank necessarily. We're talking about wealth of spirit, wealth
Yeah.
of joy,
Mm,
wealth of time to spend with your loved ones, with friends, with family,
mm,
right?
mm,
And when we're talking about health, of course, it's, physical health and mental health and spiritual health. And when we talk about love, it's not romantic love necessarily. It's,
mm,
it's love of community. It's feeling that love that you get when when you get an email from somebody who listens to your podcast and they
mm.
go, "Oh my gosh, that episode that you had really touched me," or "I can feel your energy and it's so lovely, Shu."
Yeah.
And that's what I listened to your show and I
Mm,
knew immediately that I would really love talking to you because of
oh,
your energy, because of who you
mm,
are and the way
thank you.
you come across was so
Mm,
beautiful. And so those are the things that we now if your business focuses or gives any of those three pillars to the
mhm.
world, you're in a good space,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Again, we don't want to be selling trying to sell something that people don't
That people
really
don't
need
want.
or want,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You
if
that's
that
just
makes
such a
sense.
waste. It makes a lot of sense. That's such a waste of energy. And then you get more frustrated with yourself, with the business. And sometimes people
Yeah,
even give up, saying like it's not working. I tried this, tried that. Maybe we're just giving people what they don't want, right? And so
right.
speaking of clients, I want to learn more about like you and your clients meeting. How can people work with you? Because you're sharing so much wealth here, so much
Yeah.
knowledge. You're like, well, I would love, yes, to get the book. We'll put the link, but also, working with you, what does that look like?
Well, the very first thing that we do is we have a discovery conversation. We have a call, and
Yeah,
that call is it's absolutely free. It's about 30 minutes. Sometimes I
yeah,
go over, but it's 30 minutes that you are going to tell me what it is that you're doing, and
mhm,
more importantly, what you want to become, what you want to do. That helps me a lot, and I work
yeah,
intuitively. I don't market myself as a psychic, uh,
mhm,
because my skill set is still in that expert authority realm, but I work intuitively where if I'm sitting down with you and you're telling me all the stuff, what you've been doing, and I look at your website and I look at maybe some of your social media, I'll get a download. I'll get something that comes to me and
mhm,
it'll be screaming, right? It'll be like, oh my God, she's sitting on she's got all this great content. She needs to do a bestseller campaign. She needs to
mhm,
get that book out. So we'll focus a little bit on that. Um, it's a great privilege to have that time with people, and then after
mhm,
that 30 minutes, we'll know which direction we can start. So sometimes it's creating a brand, sometimes it's enhancing the brand or changing the brand, right? And it's okay to change a brand. People think that they're stuck in it. You're
right.
not.
No,
You
the
can
good
change the
evil.
brand. Yes. So we'll do that. We'll work on that, and we'll probably create a plan, a strategy for you on the different things that we can start off with. But I like to create a media kit for that person right away. That
Yeah.
media kit reminds us who we are because we forget when we're bogged down with
Mhm,
all the
mhm,
responsibilities. And a media kit looks something like this, which if you're watching the video, you can see it's like a almost like a model card or
yeah,
an
yeah,
actor's card. And what it is that you have the best photograph of you that you can
mhm,
find, and if you don't have one, you hire a photographer and you
yeah,
get a headshot. And that photograph is going to remind you of the star that you are. Okay?
mhm,
In whatever field you're in, doesn't matter. We're going to work on your brand is you. People are going to be purchasing your program or your book or working with you because
yeah,
of who you are. And so we highlight who you are through that media kit. And it's a great starting ground because I'll tell people you're going to print that, you're going to put it next to your computer so that when you're
mm,
frustrated, when you're low, when you're thinking, oh, why am I doing this? You can look at
yeah.
that media kit, you can look at
Visual
that
reminder.
card and be
Mhm.
reminded. Exactly. So we start off with that discovery call, which is, again, it's absolutely free for people to start up with me. Yeah.
Okay, beautiful, beautiful. So if someone wants to, wanted to book that discovery call,
Yeah.
what's the best way to do that?
The best way is to go, they can go to my website, which is
Mhm.
expertauthoritycoach.com.
Okay.
And when they're there, there's a whole bunch of different links that say, book that free call. Or they can go directly to my booking service, which is chatwithchristineb.com. chatwithchristineB.com.
Mm.
That's my name, chatwithchristineB.com. And they can book in a day and time, right now. But if they go to the website, they have that option. They can click on that link, but then it tells you all the other stuff that I have. So you can
Yeah.
do a private session with me. You could join my mastermind. You can do my accelerator program, which is we work every single week together, 2 hours
Nice.
a week, and we do a lot. We rebrand, we go through your website, we just look at every single thing, and then we focus on the stuff too that you enjoy doing, because
Mm.
we want to keep it simple, easy, and fun. We want to work on things that are going to give you a good return, right, for
Mhm.
your time
Mhm.
and your
Mhm.
investment. We want to have something that has a good return, but it's something that you love doing. Because when you love doing it, you'll do more of it. And when you make little successes, then you can try and stretch and do things. My first audiobook that I created, it was a stretch because I didn't know technically all of the stuff I had to do. So
Mm.
I was putting it off and putting it off. And then when I stretched and I learned how to do it, now I'm coaching, I'm teaching people how to do that themselves, right?
Nice.
But in the beginning it was uncomfortable.
Right,
And
right.
and then when the first one you do, you go, "Oh, okay, that was okay, but I think I can do better. I think I can
Yeah.
do better on the next one."
Yeah.
And then
You
you do.
challenge yourself.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that's what I like to do is work with people and help them get through those goals and make it fun. Yeah.
Beautiful. And we'll definitely be sharing the links here to your
Great.
website and your booking site for sure.
Thank
So
you.
before we close here, I just wanted to, you have accomplished so much and now you're helping others, enhance their brands and, be visible and make an impact. What's the secret behind your success, both in marketing and podcasting?
I think because I'm a little creation machine. I
Mm,
love creating. So I love writing the books. I love creating programs. I love seeing the light bulb go off with my clients when we accomplish something and they go, "Oh my gosh, look at where I am, look at where I am now. Look where I
yeah,
came from and look where I am now." And
yeah,
I have one client, she's 75 years old. Around there, and
yeah.
she had a small business, a very successful one, but a very small business that was location based in Los Angeles. And
Mm,
she's a healer. She's a master Reiki healer and hypnotherapist. And
mhm,
she could only affect so many people that knew about her and that could travel to her in Los
yeah.
Angeles. And she always wanted to have a podcast. Now she was saying, "But I'm too old and I don't know about
Yeah,
the technology. I don't think I can do this." And I said, "Yes, you can, and I will
mm,
show you, and we're going to do it the simple, easy and fun way." And her name's
beautiful.
Barbara Savin. She has a podcast now. She has over
Mm,
100 episodes. She's interviewed
wow.
Pat Benatar. She's reaching people
Nice.
all over the world who are
Nice.
going to her website, who are booking sessions with her, who,
Oh,
she's in her mid to late 70s now
yeah,
and she's killing it.
never
And
too late.
that's the biggest reward. That's
Yeah.
the thing, is that there are so many women that are gifted and talented and have
Mhm.
wisdom, and I want to give them the platform to share that with a
Yeah.
larger audience, because the
Beautiful.
world needs women leaders right now. I don't know if
Yeah.
you know that.
Yeah. Yeah.
We
Wow.
need to step up, ladies. First of all, we need to step
Yes.
up, but we also need to get our messages out to the world. We need to
Yes.
be a little louder than those other voices.
Yeah. Take more space because we're needed.
Take a lot more space.
Yeah. Yes, yes. Well, yeah, and I think that's a good way to kind of wrap up our conversation here, for everyone listening. Yes, you are needed. You can take up space, your impact is needed. And so don't
Absolutely.
shrink down. Don't hide. Don't be the world's best secret, show up and show off. And definitely if you need, support. And I know at least all of us should know someone or even ourselves who can benefit from Christine's services. So please reach out and share this episode, share the her links that we'll put here in the notes to someone else. Your social media. If you don't know anybody, put on your social media. Someone else might see it who needs the help right now, so that all of
Thank you,
us
Shu.
can be well,
Yes.
do well, work well, and lead well. Thank you so much for being here, Christine. Such a pleasure to talk with you. I can talk with you all day. I'm just like this is so
I
cool. So
know.
I'm like, I have to go
It's
on your website and go see how I can stay connected with you and some of the things that you have to offer.
Please do. Please
Well,
do. I would love
definitely,
to. You're
definitely.
darling. You're absolutely
Well,
darling. And I'm
thank
so
you.
glad I was correct in my assumption that you would be amazing. So I
Right
feel
back
good.
at you. Yes.
Thank
Thank you
you.
so much again for being here and for sharing with us today.
My
Yeah.
pleasure.
All right. Take care, everyone. Until next time, be well, do well, work well, and lead well. Thank you for tuning in to the Chat with Chou podcast. We hope today's episode inspired and informed you on your journey towards growth. Be sure to subscribe, rate, and leave a review. Follow Chou Allegra on social media to stay updated on upcoming episodes and more resources. Until next time,